A new documentary follows the only binational baseball team in the world.
This is ground zero for human smuggling.
You're playing in the Mexican League.
I think about it twice before I go out.
It makes it sound like we live in some lawless wasteland.
El deporte está unir países, unir ciudades, unir familias.
Hombres follows this AAA Mexican League baseball team that plays on both sides of the border, traveling back and forth almost every day amid tension around immigration, divisive politics, and environmental concerns. It is airing right now on Showtime. And we're talking to the documentary's director, Andrew Glazer, who joins us live now. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
So, Andrew, I didn't even know that there was a team that was doing this. How long has this been going on for?
It's been going on, well, in the latest iteration, it's been going on for about 2 years, okay. But the team existed as a binational team before this from 1985 to 2003, and then the team got sold to another market and moved away, and then they came back in 2018.
So do these two cities have a relationship like El Paso and Juarez, or is there something dangerous about this going back and forth to pursue their dreams?
There very much is a relationship between the two cities. They're definitely sister cities, Nuevo Laredo and Laredo, Texas. I mean, they share a name, they share language largely, culture, music, and family. Nuevo Laredo is, like Juarez, as a border entry point into the U.S., it can be dangerous. It is where drugs are entering the U.S., and so it's a highly sought after entry point for the cartel. So occasionally there is waves of violence where one cartel tries to displace the other and gain entry to the valuable U.S. market.
How does that affect their baseball season and their traveling, trying to cross the border in and out of Mexico?
Amazingly, the season that we filmed, it didn't very much. Okay. I mean, there were occasional flare-ups of violence, but the cartels seem to respect the team and baseball. And when it was revealed that if there was ever a checkpoint, cartel checkpoint, or someone was stopped, and it was revealed that the people that they were stopping were involved in baseball, to let them go. And there was an incident that was referenced in our film where two umpires who happened to be from Sinaloa, unfortunately for them, and had Sinaloan accents, were taken from their hotel in Nuevo Laredo after a game one night. And they were eventually released about 12 or 24 hours later when it became apparent that they were not from a rival cartel, but they were actually umpires from Sinaloa.
So is there some lesson in your story that goes beyond baseball and guys pursuing their dreams of baseball? Is it a microcosm of the immigration issue?
Absolutely. I mean, what I wanted to do, there was so much rhetoric being talked about at the border from the political level that was kind of demonizing the people that were coming over into the U.S. From Central America primarily. So during the 2016 presidential campaign, Donald Trump was, in trying to get support for his wall, was describing the people that were coming as rapists and drug dealers. And in reality, and what we show in the film, is that most of the people that are crossing into the U.S. To seek safety are young families. So what I wanted to do with the film is really bring people to this place that we've heard about from both sides of the political spectrum and show them what it was really like there and let them come to their own conclusions.
In terms of the players themselves, I imagine this might add an additional factor of concern and for their families as well.
Yeah, I mean, the players and the team itself was, to be fair, very well taken care of. Okay. And so they were able to cross the border there. The Customs and Border Protection know the players, and even the away teams that come to play in Laredo, Texas, there's an advance agreement to let them pass in. So there wasn't there weren't any problems that I witnessed where players couldn't get into the U.S. There were concerns, occasionally safety concerns in Nuevo Laredo for players. And one of our characters is a young guy from Sinaloa who is 19 at the start of the season. and his parents only know what they've read about Nuevo Laredo. And he was living in an apartment in Nuevo Laredo with 2 other of his teammates, and they didn't really ever leave the house except to go to the stadium because it was unsafe for them.
Right. Well, Bet Hombres is streaming now on Showtime. You can also check out more of Andrew's work at andrewglazer.com or follow him on Twitter. Andrew, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks very much for your interest.
Sure. Time now for Around Town.
Hey, Anna.
It is the Day of the Dead, but it is a celebration to remember those that have passed on so that no one lets their memory die. And here in Pilsen,